everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I'm here today with a pocket layout for you. Now, this is one of the layouts that I did yesterday when I did my big like 4 or 5 hours of scrapbooking where I just continued to go. It was such a fun morning in my craft studio. And I didn't even take a break for lunch or anything like that. I just kept going. I just kept being inspired. And whenever I get in those moods, I just want to go with it because whenever that strikes me, that inspiration strikes me, I absolutely love the layouts that come out of it. So this is the second one. This is using that stash kit that I've been working with for quite some time now. And I've got all of my photos laid out. I've only got 3 4x6 photos and then one smaller, it's really a 2x3 photo, but I am going to trim that down here in a moment. And then I've got my LA Studio March 2018 calendar card that I'm going to put up here on the title. So this layout is actually week 10 and week 11 from 2018. And if you remember, I keep saying this randomly, but you're going to see this a lot more because I'm working on my 2018 layouts a lot more now than I was before. But if you remember, I have always rounded the corners in my 3x4 pockets on my pocket layouts. Well, in 2018, I decided I was no longer going to round those pockets. I was going to keep them all squared corners. So this is kind of an interesting twist because I don't scrapbook chronologically. So I'm kind of flipping back and forth between doing layouts from previous years as well as doing layouts from last year, which I would kind of consider to be a current year because it's really within 12 months from now. I consider that up to date. It's really not, especially since I've got layouts from 2016 that still need to be done, plus 2013 and before. So anyways, I just have to be aware of what time period I am scrapbooking when I'm scrapbooking. That way I know whether or not I need to be rounding the corners or keeping them squared. But this is probably my main struggle with scrapbooking is that I get so wrapped up in the process of scrapbooking, I forget to take photos. I forget about, okay, well, this is what's happening today. I want to take a photo. This is what's happening today. I want to take a photo. I have so many things going on in my brain that I cannot remember to take photos. And that is going to seem to be the dumbest thing to most of you. I do understand that. But I live in the moment. I think about what I'm doing at the time, and I do not think about much else, which is kind of dumb. But I think that's also probably one reason why I have such a problem with how many things I have going on at one time, because I am single mind focused. When I'm in the middle of something, I am focused on that, and I don't really think about many other things at the time. So I just have to be aware of how many photos I am taking. I have really considered adding an alarm, not really an alarm, a reminder for myself to take a photo for the day. And I did that with the Collect app, which actually reminds you to take a photo if you don't upload one, but yeah, it didn't work. So I'm going to have to be just a little bit more aware of that and really try to take more photos. Now, I have been doing a little bit better about posting on Instagram, so it's kind of documenting my life a little bit better, but it's not really documenting my family life a little bit better, and I just need to be better about taking photos when we are doing events and doing things, because we do stuff all the time. We always have people at our house. I actually had my younger sister and her son and my mom up this last weekend staying with us, and it was the first time my younger sister had been to our current home, and my mom was telling her, yeah, they always have people here, because we do. We always have people at our home. We are always doing something. Now, we are not having giant parties or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But our house is kind of a gathering place for a lot of our friends. And so we end up with people here all the time. And it's so much fun. We're playing games. We're eating food. Somebody will bring, I don't know, a dip, and then I'll cut up some fruit that I have in the fridge. Just whatever it is. We end up doing a lot of things. And I am absolutely awful about taking photos. This last Halloween, I didn't even get a picture of Kaylin's costume. That is terrible. Truly terrible. So I have really got to be better. I am really noticing that with my 2018 photos that I am printing. I am really did not print that many photos. And because there weren't any to print. I just didn't have a lot that I had taken pictures of. Now, I had a really rough year in 2018 with my job. I was laid off from my job at the beginning of fall. End of September is when it was. And it was a super stressful year for me. But that clearly clearly got in the way of my photo taking. And when you go through my photos on my computer, you can see the drop off. It just like dropped off. I stopped taking pictures. And I don't think that I don't think that it was I wasn't happy. I just think it was that I had so many other things going on, I wasn't thinking of it. And so I've really got to get back into the habit of that. And it truly is a habit. It really is just a habit, because I'm extremely happy and I'm stressed to some degree, but nowhere near what I was before. So it's not even that. I just have to make a conscious effort to take photos. I really do, until I get back into the habit of it. So that's a lot of rambling. I have been doing a lot of rambling in the last couple of videos. I think I've just been talking to you guys a little bit more about things that are going on, and, maybe less about my process itself, but that kind of just lets you get to know me a little bit better. There is this die cut pack that I had included in the stash kit, and I don't remember where it was from. It was in my die cut drawer. It's this one that's laid out right here. There are a few felt pieces in there, and then there are some large die cuts, and a lot of them are pretty large, actually. Well, I am utilizing this die cut pack like crazy. Like, seriously crazy. It may be from On Trend. No, I don't think it's On Trend, because that had like cactuses and roses and stuff in it. I don't know what it's from, but it has some gold elements in there. It has some felt pieces, and then it also has a lot of other just random die cuts in there. Well, then I have this die cut pack from Rosie Studios is what it's called, and this collection was actually Pink Lemonade. I do actually remember that. So this collection is Pink Lemonade, and it's such a cute collection. Like, really cute collection. And I love it. I love using it. And one of the really cool thing about the Rosie Studios, and I want to say that's possibly an Australian company or a New Zealand company. I'm not entirely sure where it's actually out of. My friend Angela sends these to me because she's absolutely amazing. But the coolest thing about these die cut packs, and Angela, I guess I've never even told you thank you for this particular reason, but this is the coolest die cut pack because it has duplicates of everything. So if you have a die cut pack that you really enjoy, you get 2 of everything in here. And isn't that fun? Because you can just make it last that much longer across that many more layouts. So I send Angela things and she sends me things. We have like a little like pen pal kind of thing going on, which is super fun. And it gives her a chance to get some stuff from the US at probably a lot cheaper than what she would be able to purchase, I'm assuming. For it to be shipped to her. But I also get the cool ability to get some stuff from another country, and this is one of those packs. And it's just really cool to me because wherever this is manufactured, they just do it differently. They have 2 of every single die cut. And that is really a cool concept to me. Why don't we have that here in the US? Why don't the companies in the US do that? I don't know. And it's not that there's not variety, because there are just as many die cuts. You just get 2 of them. So instead of maybe 50 die cuts, there's probably 100 in here. So I get the same 50 regular designs, but I get 2 of them. So it's not like they are not skimping on the designs you get. You just happen to get 2 of them. So if you guys ever get the chance to get some of the Rosie Studio products, I highly suggest it because they are super fun to work with. And that actual pink striped paper to the far right is from that Rosie Studio. I don't think it's from that same collection. I don't remember. It was a scrap that I had in my scrap bin. But I do remember that was from a Rosie Studio. I think it's a 6x6 pad that came from. But that's that same manufacturer to the far right there. So these cards are actually going to shift around slightly. I wanted to make sure that the gold was kind of distributed across the layout, and the reason I'm going to move it is because I'm actually going to move that gold arrow from the top left. It's not going to stay on that top left. I did use another one of the elements here that I did not think I was going to use in this stash kit. The last layout I did for you guys, I used a button. Haha, I used a button. Aren't you proud? But this one, I actually am using that acrylic magic piece that's gold. So I'm embracing gold. I have not always been a giant fan of gold in the past, but I really do kind of like gold now. I am like 5 years late to the to the show, but I like gold. I actually think I have really come to enjoy gold. I don't know why. I think I thought of it before This is going to sound dumb. I am thinking of it more like a color now, and I know that is the dumbest thing for me to say. But I think before I thought of it more as like an embellishment and not necessarily as a color. And so now I'm thinking of it more as a color that I am like spreading across my layout. Okay, I know I sound completely crazy and I probably have lost it. But I don't know. I think that I've never really like loved gold before, and I'm really kind of embracing it. Now, it's never going to be my go-to color that I pick first, but I'm really not shying away from it anymore. I'm really kind of just allowing it to kind of creep into my layouts and making sure that it works well with the colors. I think it works really well with pink. I think it works really well with blue. And that's kind of the different things that I have going on this particular layout. I also included this craft paper here that's kind of got like a craft, and it's like a craft background with some scrolly white designs. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. It's just kind of like scrolly. It looks like somebody sketched on it with the white pen. And I'm kind of using that to balance the gold a little bit because it's in that same kind of neutral brown color family, and that really kind of balances the gold on this particular layout. So I do have to say, because I didn't think about this until I was getting ready to record the voiceover for this video. So the title for this layout is Hello Snow. Okay, so I don't even think I realized it whenever I was doing that, but I'm pretty positive. So it snowed this week, and so it was like March of 2018. And that was a super late snow, which we were actually supposed to get snow yesterday here, and we didn't get any, which I would have loved if we gotten snow. So it would have been March, 5th, and we were supposed to get snow. Well, last year we got snow. It was the same week last year. I'm looking at the date. So the date was like March 5th to March 18th are when these photos are from. And we got snow. Kids were out of school for like a week. It was something ridiculous because we got so much snow and then it turned to ice for days. But so I titled this layout like Hello Snow. Well, I have been like binge watching Once Upon a Time on Netflix. I never got into that show when it first came out, but I like to be able to like binge watch things, and that's one of those shows on Netflix that has like 1 million episodes, and I've really kind of enjoyed it. It's like my guilty pleasure right now. I've been watching it a lot when I scrapbook, though. When I was scrapbooking yesterday, I was kind of listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos like clean. I was actually listening or watching like clean with me's and stuff like that, and weekly meal preps and kind of like the get it done kind of videos. I like watching those. Those really kind of motivate me because I feel like that's how I am 100% of the time, is that I am constantly in the mode to like get things done and work on the next thing. I am very much one of those people that is I feel fulfilled when I am busy and I am productive. I don't have to like buy a lot or like make a lot of money or anything like that, but I do like feeling like I feel fulfilled. That's kind of hard to say. I feel fulfilled when I am productive. Now, it could be productive as in I made dinner, or I cleaned my house, or I made 1 million layouts, or I cleaned out my email box. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is, but I feel productive I feel good when I am productive. So that's kind of why I've been watching those videos recently. But back to my main point, I have been watching Once Upon a Time a lot here recently, and one of the like Snow White, her name is Snow, so they just call her Snow in the show. And the last episode that I watched was when they were telling the story of when she was a little girl and she originally met the evil queen and how she became her stepmother. So I think that's where that title came from, which says Hello Snow. I'm pretty positive I was like thinking of that movie, even though this layout is obviously about snow, but it's just kind of like Hello Snow. It made me think about that whenever I was doing it. So anyways, back to the layout at hand here. I am taking my time kind of putting embellishments down on this layout. So this layout, it's not terribly over embellished, but it was one of the layouts that actually took me longer to do. I think it took me about 1.5 hours to do this one. And I don't exactly know why, because I felt like this layout came together pretty quickly, but I think my scrapbooking speed was slowing down. I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was an old oh, I can't remember what it was from, but they were interviewing a scrapbooker, and they were asking like how long it takes her to do a layout. And she was saying that it takes her like an hour to do each layout. And I was thinking about it, and it takes me about an hour to do each layout. And the only reason I know that is because when I edit the videos and then I speed up the time, I like my target for my process videos is to be about 15 minutes long. This one's like 22 minutes, I believe. Whereas, the one tomorrow I think is going to be like 11 minutes. I have a pretty short one coming up. Short as far as like in the realm of process videos. But it takes me about an hour to scrapbook a layout, whether it's 12 by 12 or a pocket card layout. It doesn't matter. It takes me about an hour. The only ones that take me less are traveler's notebooks, and those usually take me about 30 minutes. Yeah, they take me about 30 minutes to complete. So, and just in case you were curious, because I thought that was an interesting thing to ask the scrapbooker in the interview, was how long it takes them to complete a layout. And I would say it's about an hour. An hour is my good average. If it takes me about an hour and a half, by the time I'm done with the hour and a half, I start to feel a little like over it. And I am definitely, there are a few times where I will start a layout and then come back and finish it later. But like 90% of the layouts I do, I complete in one sitting. I may like stop and go get some coffee, or maybe stop and go downstairs and make myself some lunch or something like that. But it's all in like the same like session, I would say, same scrapbooking session. There's very few times that I actually stop my creative process and come back on another day or hours later and complete it. I usually do all of it at once. I just feel like that's easier for me. If I were to stop and take an extended break, I probably would have to like re-explore the products and kind of reevaluate where I was going with the layout. Whereas if I just continue to go, it just kind of flows a little bit better. I did do some stamping on this layout. I have 2 different stamped images there that you saw me stamp, which I haven't been using the stamps. There's 2 small stamp sets in this particular stash kit. I haven't been using the stamps a whole lot in the layouts that I've been completing. I don't even know how many layouts I've done so far with this stash kit. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But I do have a good many, and again, I wasn't entirely sure how many I was going to create when I first put this stash kit together, but I am pleasantly surprised with how well it's worked and how different each of the layouts looks. So the 12 by 12 layouts that I've been doing, their overall design is kind of similar, but each layout is different. So the overall design is like one photo and some journaling, and then kind of embellishing around the photo with the separate cluster, but each one is completely different. So they still don't, and they're also from very random different time periods. So there's not a whole lot of like similar looking layouts, even though I've been using the same supplies over and over and over again. So let's see. Today is layout number 6 with the stash kit. So far I have actually completed 8 with the stash kit. And I've done, let's see, 4 12 by 12 layouts. When you're thinking about the total 8 that I've completed, you'll see the other 2 in the next couple days. And I have done 4 pocket layouts. So that's a pretty good, like separation of, not separation. Pretty good. Oh, I can't even think of a word I want to use. Pretty good. Y'all are probably suggesting words that would be perfect for this sentence. Pretty good, I guess. Just, I don't know. Oh my God, I'm totally blanking. I don't even know what I want to say. Distribution, maybe? I don't know. Of layouts. Either way, basically half have been one type and half have been another type of layouts. And I think it's been a really good use of the supplies. Yeah, there we go. That gets my point across. I think it's been a pretty good use of supplies. But I do have a lot of supplies left. I will do like a D-kit or whatever when I'm done with this one, because I do want to kind of share with y'all how I put this back in my stash. I always talk about creating stash kits, but I don't always talk about how I put it back in my stash. But now that you've seen how I organize all of my sections in my craft studio, whenever I talk about putting it back in my stash, I think it'll make a lot more sense, and you'll see exactly how I would put it back in my stash. Now, one big thing I need, and I'm looking at it right now, one big thing I really probably need to be doing better at is pulling from my scrap bin. So when I'm done with a kit, I really don't like adding things back to my scrap bin. I always do, because I always have scraps left. And I don't ever throw scraps away, truly, unless it's trash, like little tiny slivers of pieces. But I don't really like adding back to the scrap bin after I pulled from it to begin with. But the good thing is, the stash kits, I am pulling from my scrap bin, so it's not just growing. It's getting used a little bit, and then it grows, and then it gets used, and then it grows. But I need to be using it more than it is actually growing. So I don't know. I'm going to have to kind of think through different ways to tackle that process. So I'm adding the very last element to this layout, and this layout is complete. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this. This has been kind of a long one, I do know, and I have been quite the chatty person today. But let me know if you guys have any questions whatsoever. I love your comments, and I love responding back to you, though it may take me a couple of days sometimes to get back to you. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll be back tomorrow with something more. All right, bye.